Fun. Now, police in North Yorkshire are looking into complaints of bullying and harassment at a community for disabled people in the North York malls.
Botton Village functions like a commune with the able-bodied and people with special needs living and working together. A management trust has been accused of intimidation while introducing changes to the way it's run. The trust denies the claims and says changes are needed to comply with the law. Kathy Killick has this.
Set up nearly 60 years ago, Botton Village is a special place where adults with learning difficulties live in family groups with volunteers called co-workers. They're not paid, but living expenses are met and farming provides food for the community. Some residents and co-workers have lived here happily for decades, but changes are afoot. New tax laws are prompting the village's management trust, called CVT, to turn the co-workers into paid employees, working shifts as carers and no longer living with the residents. While some are happy with the changes, many more are not. I wasn't allowed to talk to them in the village, so they met me in a nearby vicarage to explain their concerns.
I think it's important to live as a family with the house coordinators and, if they've got children, as a well-run unit, and to have that changed and even these changes thrust upon us, I don't agree with it.
The changes at Botton have been making me feel scared, upset and frightened.
We might end up one time with carers in the house, and we don't really want that. We don't like it.
A recent public meeting showed the strength of feeling, but the situation has now worsened. Some residents and co-workers have called in the police, claiming they've been bullied and harassed by trust managers, a claim the trust denies.
It's an absolute scandal in terms of the lack of consultation that the villagers have had. They haven't been informed. There's been no conversation, dialogue with them at all. Their views and their intentions and what they want is simply not reflected in the proposed changes.
There's nowhere else to go. You haven't got anywhere else to turn. So you sit there thinking, well, where should I go for help? You know, and the police was one of the organisations, you know, we hoped could help us and come to our aid.
North Yorkshire Police have confirmed they're looking into the complaints and have said they'll liaise with social workers to assess whether or not the behaviour of the trust amounts to anything criminal. In the meantime, it's clear that many of the residents living in this idyllic setting are far from happy, and that's unusual for this unique community. Kathy Killick, BBC Look North, Botton.
Well, we did ask the Trust for an interview. They were unable to provide one, but they did give us a statement from Hugh John, who's the Chief Executive. In it, he says, we take the safety and well-being of people we support and those who provide their support very seriously, and we have stringent safeguarding policies in place to ensure any allegations that are brought to our attention are thoroughly and urgently investigated.
He added, we are confident that there has been no bullying, harassment or mismanagement, and that there will be no police case to answer. All of the changes we have introduced have been part of reasonable and appropriate management of the charity. We have faced a public barrage of allegations and accusation in recent months, which we believe are part of an orchestrated, wider campaign to resist the changes needed to ensure the charity is legally compliant.